Sometimes growth isn't dramatic. It's quiet and deeply unsettling. There's no crisis to solve, no wound to analyze, no chaos to untangle. And suddenly, you have to live. This week wasn't about fixing the past. It was about standing on a threshold and realizing I don't know how to move forward when the past isn't driving. Because when you've built your identity around surviving, creating feels riskier than reacting. So this is Francisca. This is my mid-crisis life. And today is Reflection Friday. Yes, this is Reflection Friday, where we pause and integrate the week. So if you're building awareness and not just consuming insight, subscribe. Let's reflect. This week wasn't about another breakthrough. It wasn't about uncovering some new wound or finding some hidden childhood memory that explains everything. It was about something quieter. It was about standing on the edge of growth and realizing there's nothing left to analyze. And now you actually have to live. It was about standing on a threshold and realizing I don't know how to walk through it. So on Sunday, I wasn't frozen because life was empty. I was frozen because I've always known how to respond to what's already happened. I know how to process the past. I know how to make meaning from pain. I know how to survive something. But what I don't know, or what feels unfamiliar, is how to move into a space where the past isn't driving. There's something unsettling about that. When your nervous system has been shaped by reacting, adapting, analyzing, overcoming, it feels almost disorientating to stand in a moment that isn't defined by what hurt you. And that's what this week exposed. It's not that there's nothing ahead. It's that what's ahead isn't organized around the old story. So on Monday, we talked about the freeze and how it shows up when there's no clear, safe move. And stepping through a threshold can feel like that. There's no enemy to fight, no chaos to fix, no past event to untangle, just forward. And forward requires something different. It requires creating, not reacting, choosing, not analyzing, living, not surviving. And if you've built your identity around surviving, that shift feels risky. Because when everything meaningful in your life has happened in response to something, you can start to unconsciously believe that nothing meaningful will happen without it. That's the fear. Not that nothing will happen, but that without the past driving it, nothing significant will. That maybe you only know how to exist inside the reaction. And this week's practice was about honoring the survival self, not cutting them off, but allowing them to stop steering, because they know how to handle the past, but they don't necessarily know how to build the future. And that's not a flaw. It's just not their job. So here's your reflection for this week. If your past wasn't the organizing force anymore, who would you be? If you weren't responding to what happened, what would you initiate? And what part of you is afraid that without the old story, there will be no story at all? Just notice that. Notice where it lands in your body. Notice whether the fear is about failing or about not having something to overcome. A threshold isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the moment where the old way still feels safer. Not because it was good, but because it was known. And stepping forward doesn't mean the past didn't matter. It means it doesn't get to author what happens next. Maybe that's what this week really was. Not collapse, not confusion, just the discomfort of standing in front of a door that opens into something that isn't shaped by what hurt you, and deciding whether you're ready to walk through. If this week stirred something in you, stay with it. Subscribe so you don't just understand the process, you live it. And if you're standing on your own threshold right now, comment, let me know, and I'll see you next week.